Good evening, Greg here. Burn at both ends. Burn out on the back end of a Monday. It is May 21st, 2018, 11:01 p.m. Pacific. Back in Albany from a great trip to New York City. Spent some great time with my dad and my brother celebrating my dad's 75th birthday. And so huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to my brother and his family for hosting us in Westport, Connecticut for a couple of days. Huge shout out to the Ents family for inviting us excuse me, to the Ents headquarters in Manhattan. And then a huge shout out to Peter. I had lunch with Peter today. He's an incredible entrepreneur. I will talk more about him tomorrow morning in tomorrow morning's post, but just to sum it up, we had a great meeting, a lot of synergies. First time I met Peter, and we just great conversation. So you'll hear more about that tomorrow. So I want to get right into tonight's post, or tonight's topic, and it's called something I'm calling micro work and positive people. And these are two things that supported me on this trip in keeping this burn at both ends, double posting regimen that I've subscribed to. Because I have to admit, I was a little bit concerned that it would be a little bit challenging and that maybe the post would be a little bit weak. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to record them all. I had my iPhone, I had my Chromebook, wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do, where I was going to be. I had my lavalier mic, so I thought I was pretty ready. There were definitely some challenges, but these two things, micro work and positive people, certainly helped me, and I was able to continue this burn at both ends around this fun-filled weekend with my dad and brother, and I was experimenting with a productive concept that I'm calling micro work. And the basic concept is every time I had about 5 minutes of in-between time, in between doing things, I moved some little process forward, some little burn at both ends process forward, right? I make these outlines, I got to think of content. I'm also thinking about collaborations. I'm thinking about a bunch of other aspects of my platforms. I'm Entsing a lot. I'm loving the Ents platform. And so, and the key was this was just a tiny amount of work. And what I realized that over the course of the day, these little bits of work were adding up and they were creating substantial progress that really enabled me to be a lot more effective at posting and a lot more efficient. I mean, it's really nice if I can just have the outline already done during the day, and then at night I just sit down and I can bang out the post. I really like that. And this really empowered me, and it just really enabled my dual posting regimen to continue throughout this weekend of a lot of fun, a lot of family time, very different schedule than what I'm used to here in Albany. And I have to say that this is inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. Huge shout out to him. I love his content. Actually, I'm excited to get back into listening to some of his stuff. I really didn't listen to much over the weekend. But his concept of hustle, this hustle mentality. And so it really pushed me to really seek to identify all these small pockets of time where I can squeeze in a little bit of work. And whether it's Entsing, whether it's working on the next outline for the next post, or an idea for collaboration, this micro work strategy really aligns with this infinite game concept, right? So part of the infinite game is long-term thinking, but it's also competing with myself, not competing with other folks, but just pushing myself to be more efficient, more effective, work harder, do more with less, things like that. And I really appreciated that, and I really, allowed myself to be productive and move my brand forward in these tiny increments throughout the day. So that way I'm not bunching it all up at the front of the day or the back of the day, or needing to block off a large amount of time in the middle of the day, which can be challenging, when I'm sitting there in New York and I want to obviously give time to my dad and we want to do these activities. So it really helped. So, all right, so let's talk about micro work. So essentially the concept is I'm chipping away at larger tasks with these little short productive bursts. And what I was amazed at is really how much I can get accomplished in a 3 to 5 minute little block of time with a good amount of drive. It's just amazing how I can bang out something really important in that short amount of time. And something that really helps me is I create these little systems that enable this. For example, I have this Google form, and I have a link to it on my home screen on my phone. And all the form is just one field where I can just type in a couple, a few words or a few phrases, and it's my like content tracking form. So I have an idea for content, go to my phone, click on the form, quickly type in what it is, submit it to the cloud. It ends up in a Google Sheet somewhere, so that way I can look at it later when I'm thinking, of ideas for posts. So that way, if an idea comes to me in the middle of the day, and I'm probably gonna forget it. If I write it down, now I got to track this piece of paper. And paper, I love writing things down, but there's a lot of overhead with paper. I love paper, but I got to now bring the paper with me, and I got to put it somewhere, and I got to have it when I'm looking at, thinking about my post for that night. So I have this little form, super awesome. I use it all the time. Just for ideas, all different kinds of ideas, collaboration ideas, content ideas, topic ideas for posts. So I create these little systems that help me. And the other thing, and this comes from the men's team and the technology team, and I'm a part of, is be flexible, be adaptable, right? I don't need, like I said, to block off a large amount of time and sit behind my computer to do work. For example, I was adaptable Thursday night. Was the first night in New York City. I'm with my brother. We're at the Roxy in Tribeca listening to some live jazz. It was awesome jazz. My brother, first of all, he knows everybody. So if you look at the top 10 things about my brother, number 4, he knows everybody. It's amazing. So he knew this trumpet player who was playing. Great, like classic jazz, just awesome. Some funk, some James Brown. Anyway, so we're in the middle of doing this. My brother and I got into this discussion about this belief in self versus drive. I did a whole post on it. That's where it came from. We were talking about it. So he helped me think of a topic. I thought that was a great topic. And I was like, let's bust the outline out right now. It's a great idea. And so I asked the waiter for a pen and paper, and he brings us a pen and a little itty bitty pad, little pad. And I'm sitting there writing down the outline, and I'm getting my brother's help, and he's helped me craft the language and the concepts, so that way they're well thought out. And very nonchalantly, as we're listening to jazz, we come up with the outline, and that way by the time I got home 11:30, I was ready to do the post. And so that's what I'm talking about, being adaptable. Whereas I could have been like, no, I'll wait till I get home and use my computer, but yeah, and it took like 3 or 4 sheets of paper and lots of scratching out and a little bit of effort, but I thought that was a really good way to do some micro work, to put some time in right then to get some progress. So those were kind of the 3 pieces to the micro work, right? It was chipping away at these tasks with little bits of progress, little bursts of progress, creating systems to enable me to do that, and being adaptable to do it in new and different ways than what I'm used to. The second thing that really helped on this trip was the positive people I was around. My dad and brother were very supportive of the posts. They gave me help with language for the outlines. They gave me space to make my recordings. And, they also were kind of motivating me. Hey, have you done your post yet today? That kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. My sister-in-law really supported me. We had some great conversations. She downloaded a whole bunch of good brand ideas and business ideas to me at one point. And I thought that was great. And then, just overall, a lot of uplifting conversations, that helped me discover topics for the post. I mean, my brother inspired 2 posts, my dad inspired 1 post, and my sister-in-law inspired another 2 posts. So thought that was great. And it was great, how they also help with the language for the outlines. That's very effective for me. To get that feedback, it just helps, right? Because that way it's not all on my shoulders, right? It's a collaborative environment. And so what were the results of all this? I was able to keep up with the posts. It was fun and empowering. And I have to admit, I learned a lot about my iPhone. And because I have to say, I have to learn more how to manage the storage of my iPhone, right? I have a 16 gig iPhone 6S, and I was definitely running into some storage problems. And so I need to learn better how to manage that. And if I were to offer a suggestion to Apple, it would be make it easier for me to add storage to this thing. Give me a SD slot or something, so I can spend $15 and add 64 gigs or something. I forget what a 64 gig SD card costs, but it's something like $15-20. That would really help. So that was it. So, I was able to bang out the posts. I thought they were, solid topics. Maybe the video quality wasn't as good at certain points. I wasn't always able to add the beats to everything. My brother did add beats to one post, so I really appreciate that. Some of them I had the phone and I was holding it, so it was a little shaky, but I think the content was strong, so I was really pleased about that. So it was a great weekend in New York City. I'm glad to be back here in Albany. I'm glad to be back with the family. I'm psyched. And then we're just going to keep rolling with the content. And the plan is to fill out the first 30 days with all this wisdom that I've picked up over the last 10 to 15 years of my life. And then I'm going to start differentiating and getting into kind of the 4 pillars of my brand: business, engineering / technology, music, and food. Get into all those things. I want to spend a week on each. So that's coming up probably, in the second 30 days. And then it's a matter of getting collaborations going. I want to get my Instagram going. So I'm excited for all that. And of course, the whole time I'm ending the whole way. I consider that the hub of everything. I'm really excited about that. So if you like what you hear, subscribe. This is all about my journey. This is all about things that I'm putting into action that are giving me great results. These are all, processes and methods and wisdom that I've picked up that are really working for me right now. I feel that, I really have a lot of wisdom that I've collected, and I'm putting it to use, and I'm seeing results. And tomorrow morning's post, you'll see a bunch of good things there. So subscribe, comment down below. Tell me, what you're up to. Ask some questions. I'd love to help. I'd love to be of service. So please throw some problems at me. I love solving problems. I've linked a bunch of motivational videos down below in the description. Check those out. And let's see what else. And then the beats in the background, that's my alter ego G Money. So I've been drumming for a couple decades, so I love that creative part of me. So I write these drum songs. Check them out if you like them. You can listen to them for free on SoundCloud. And that's tonight's post. So micro work, positive people, collaboration. These are all wonderful things. Chipping away at large tasks with smaller bursts of progress. Really helpful. So y'all have a great night, and I will see you in the morning.